So Bonnie Blue has just slept with 1,050 something guys in 12 hours.
2 minutes with me alone or double it and pass it to the next person.
2 minutes for you.
I didn't know it feels like
Jesus.
a special room where you can take me out back.
If your husband's going to cheat.
That guy, by the way, fun fact, was a Christian kid, and he said, "I'm saving myself a marriage," and she kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing. It was actually pretty creepy.
Send your husband my way. Send your sons my way. Fresh 18-year-olds. They've just finished school.
Hey guys, it's Misha and welcome back to my channel. So today we are looking at a viral video featuring Bonnie Blue and a Five Guys employee that has sparked quite a bit of controversy. And you may remember her from the video I made about Lily Phillips. That was the OF creator that slept.
Yeah, Lily Phillips. She's probably gonna say it, but that's the girl who slept or was working up to sleeping with a thousand dudes and then slept with 100 guys and then cried on camera and the whole shebang. It's a pretty strange situation. It feels like Bonnie is the one dragging Lily into this rabbit hole, and Lily is gonna get mentally messed up, but Bonnie is having a good time. That's what it feels like.
Slept with 100 men in one day and then had a documentary made about it.
Yeah.
So this was another OF creator that collabed with her. And in my opinion, she's kind of like her evil twin. I think she's actually worse. And we'll
Exactly what I've been thinking. It's like this type of person has a it's almost like she is a succubus, and she's dragging this human along with her and then ruining this human's mentality, but the succubus is enjoying it because you know what a succubus is. They're just a demon. They're like a sucky suck demon, a clungy on the cluck cluck demon.
We'll get into why. But the main reason is that her whole thing involves seeking out barely legal men and then sleeping with them, then monetizing those encounters on her OF. So let's start with this video, which is both incredibly disturbing, but also gives me some hope because watch his reaction.
I just wondered, I can't see it on the menu, but where do I get the Five Guys from? The Five Guys. I didn't know it feels like a special room where you can take me out back.
No, I don't think that's happening.
What about after your shift? I mean, I'd want to give you, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm saving myself to marriage.
I'm asking for what's on the menu, that's all.
Genuinely, I feel like I'm doing it right now. I can hand you a menu if you want.
Are you on it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's a shame.
Are you on it? Ha! Why are you harassing her?
See, I can see her point here, this girl, but I mean, she shot her shot. You can't be angry for people shooting their shot. Like, you really can't. And just because she's a sexual deviant doesn't mean you can be pissy that she tries. And she didn't take the no, but she did take the no after a while. That's a point to be argued, of course. However, you have to be allowed to shoot your shot.
Random men. This is so disgusting, and I know everyone is saying this, everyone's thinking it, but if it was a man who said this, oh, where are the 5 women at, haha, everyone would be canceling him. Everyone would be commenting, that's disgusting. Yep. You're harassing this poor woman. And thankfully, people are calling her out, but this is just more socially acceptable for whatever reason, right?
Well, it's socially acceptable because a woman isn't as dangerous as a man. And when you have a man that's like some sort of actual danger, like a physical specimen, strong, and he doesn't give up and let up, the likelihood of something bad happening is higher. Not saying that women haven't, because women can drug, women can stab with a knife, all sorts of things, and shoot and everything. I'm just saying it's more physically intimidating at that time.
She's a woman, so she gets to do this. I mean, it is so creepy. Thankfully, this man stands his ground, right? He firmly declines her advances, says, I'm a Christian, waiting for marriage, right? Good for him, respect. But the very disturbing part of all this, and really, really disgusting, is that she did not take no for an answer at first, right? She kept going. And her whole thing is, well, actually, this is very educational, what I'm doing, right? It's going to help the men. It's going to help the women. But then you're not taking no for an answer. Ignoring his boundaries. It is gross, plain and simple. And like I said, thankfully, people also see this for what it is. So what a legendary response from a young lad. Imagine if a man was asking a girl this exactly. This is actually so weird. You are absolutely vile. Makes me sick. You're a predator. Just kidding. Not this predator sexually harassing people and thinking it's okay. And then the man that was recorded on X, he said, Bonnie Blue recording me at work was not on my bingo card for this year, but here we are, I guess. Real talk though, I'm actually okay. I thought it was funny at first, but in hindsight, she never asked for my age, never asked for my consent to post, and persisted after several times of me saying no. This could have gone completely wrong if she did this to someone else. And this is
I want to touch upon that a little bit, because I feel like it's a very, in a sense, dangerous thing to do, because you all are painting him as a victim, and the second people start going into victim mentality, it's the problem. Let's actually go back here, because I want to see here. See here, real talk. I'm okay though. I thought it was funny at first, right? If this wasn't the age of the internet, he would have laughed his ass off and talked to his Christian buddies. What are you thinking, huh? I had this white woman, come up to me and she asked me if I could be one of the 5 guys she can buy from the restaurant menu, huh? That's a crazy. What white women are crazy nowadays. And they would be like, I'm waiting for marriage, you know? That would be it. You would not think about it. Because people make this such a big deal and make it such an explosive thing that... he now feels like hindsight was like, I was harassed. I don't like that mentality. Not from him in particular, but that it's happening because of this type of push.
It's part of a much larger problem. A lot of influencers, not just OF creators, right? Just influencers in general.
Yeah,
when they
true.
go out onto like the street to do these sorts of interviews nowadays, right? They think it's okay to ask insanely inappropriate questions because they know that's going to get them views, that's going to get them clicks, and somehow that makes it okay, right? That justifies making people uncomfortable, all for the sake of views and clout. Screaming in public, I mean, we see a lot of strange things, but with creators like Bonnie Blue now jumping onto this trend, that makes things even worse because, of course, their work is highly sexual. But again,
I can get what she's saying. Like, there's a lot of the Jack Dorothys and the pushing for fights and this type of thing. But asking inappropriate questions shouldn't be a problem. Like, if you ask some inappropriate question and somebody doesn't like it, you can walk away. It's not a problem. Like, that's the thing about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech goes both ways. If a person like me is free to say what I think about somebody, they're free to say what they think about me. And it happens. The comment sections sometimes are really positive and sometimes aren't. And that's okay. Because I'm allowed to say what I want to say and they're allowed to say what they want to say.
For Bonnie, harassment is fine as long as it gets her clicks. Now, do we think that Bonnie Blue has addressed the controversy or issued an apology? Of course not. Of course
is no
not.
problem.
Speaking of those
That's the
interviews,
thing.
she's doing that as well now, asking random men on the street if they would go and sleep with her, and then she like makes them rate the experience. It's so creepy. Bonnie Blue at Nottingham Freshers. This is a fresher?
They really bigged you up, you know. Yeah. I'm excited for this one.
Biggie White.
Do you want to spend 2 minutes with me alone or double it and pass it to the next person?
2 minutes with you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do to me?
As much as possible.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we going to have fun?
I hope so.
Yeah? Okay.
I'll have fun.
He just said, I'll have fun. I'll have fun. This is me. I'll have fun. That's how it works, mate. Mate, I'll have me 2 minutes and you'll have your 2 minutes of me wang.
Did you have fun?
I had an amazing time.
Yeah? Would you do it again?
Man, he looks like a thumb.
Would you recommend me to a friend,
I'd recommend it to everyone,
including your dad?
especially my dad.
Dragging one's father
Nasty.
into such a scenario is
Nasty.
next level. Pulling
Nasty.
family into this degenerate context, right? And
Yeah,
her whole
fair
thing
enough.
also is, yeah, bring your sons and your fathers and your husbands. I mean, if it was just for the sake of a joke, these people are serious.
Would you want to go first or last in my queue?
Do you know what? I'd probably go last.
Jesus Christ, you cuck. You cuck. You just want that sweet, sweet juice from the last dudes. You know, you want that sloppy second, that white sea that's already spread open like some sort of sea clam ready with the mayo.
Yeah, save the best till last.
Best till last.
And you know, the situation with Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue is very interesting because it actually brings individuals with varying political beliefs together, which is pretty rare. I mean,
Yeah,
not
this is
everyone
true.
agrees. Of course, there's always going to be corn-addicted men and delusional women who think that this is somehow empowering or beneficial to society. But
I want to touch upon what she just said there. I think it's a very interesting point, honestly, because what she said there is it is not empowering to society. And I do agree with her. On a fundamental basis, I agree. Because she's saying, hey, this is not a good thing for society. Being sexually deviant is not a good thing. I would agree. However, if you go by certain monkey species or certain, like, you can go by all sorts of species, but I'm using bonobos since they're very close to us. They have orgies. Not a problem. But that's because it's a norm in their society. This is, to my understanding, somebody who just is something that's very different from everybody else. Like the Romans, orgies. The Greeks had sex with their squires, or whatever you would call them. There's a lot of things that have been norms up through the times. That doesn't mean they're good or bad. But humans have an incredible ability to adapt. And we have an incredible ability to have surroundings that would allow for us to do what we want. So, for example, the Romans had bathhouses. They created surroundings to create a place for them to do things they wanted. Like, of course, every place had prostitutes. But here, she's been given the internet. She's been given OnlyFans. These are all places for her to do what she wants to do. And now she can go anywhere because a lot of men want to have sex with her. And if she gets a no, not a problem. She could just go to anybody, anywhere. Like, she can do whatever she wants. Like, she's already been given the platform, given the money, given the time, and given the consent. So we can't exactly say that, like, she might be nasty, but these men are also consenting and they're happy with it. So, but I see what she's meaning.
But thankfully, a majority of people see through this nonsense. Most people recognize now that this kind of content and the porn industry in general, right, it perpetuates an idea that objectifying men and women is somehow acceptable and we should normalize it. She's also appeared on a channel called Saving Grace for an interview that I want to take a look at. Maybe this will give us some insight into her mindset and help us better understand where she's coming from. If there's even a sliver of hope that she may change for the better in the future.
She won't.
When you started OnlyFans, was it just like underwear pics?
No, you have to be interested for that. So I went from 0 to 100 very quickly.
You went
overnight.
straight to...
Actively seeking out barely legal teens.
Then
I mean, I understand what she's saying. If it was my son and he came and said, "Oh, Bonnie Blue had tried to pick me up and was 18," I'd be like, "You didn't go with her, did you?" And he'd be like, No, I know better than that." I'm like, "Good." If he said, "Oh, I went with her," I'd be like, "Whack! To learn from this experience. This is bad inni. But at the same time, they are legal. It doesn't matter if they're barely legal. They are legal. That's kind of the cutoff point. That's why there's so many teen porns and all these things, because it's legal. It's the closest, but it's legal still. I get what you're saying, but law.
in November last year, there's something in Australia called schoolies.
Okay.
So it's fresh 18-year-olds. They've just finished school. They go partying.
Right.
To be fair, they came to me. They was like, coming to the location I lived at. So I was like, I'm going to open my door to them.
Of course.
And shame on this woman too who's interviewing her. She should push back a little bit if she disagrees with her. If she agrees with her, then this whole situation is even sadder. Maybe
the thing is, pushing back on this, women very often have a toxic, very toxically agreeing. They toxically agree to a lot of things. So if there's 4 women there and they're like, you should cheat, and everybody's like, yeah, fuck that guy, cheat on him, even though they know he's a decent dude. It's just that mentality, and they're like, in a sense, pushing each other and being toxically accepting of their behavior. If that was a man, he was like, oh, I'm gonna go cheat on her, and it was my type of the guys that hang around me, I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? What the fuck? Like, why would you cheat? Go break up with her if you don't want to be with her, and then you can go fuck someone else. Before that, no. That's fucking stupid. It's disrespectful. It's dishonorable. And, yeah, shame on you.
you're just not very confrontational and you want to keep things civil, you can totally do that, but also say, hey, what? That's kind of crazy. I disagree with that. That's weird. I don't know her, but I did take a quick look at the comments and people are also surprised. For example, this is so crazy. Kind of disappointed with how Grace changes her views. Oh, I love this podcast, but she's a disgrace to society and such a bad influence on young girls. Your main target
100%.
audience. This needs to be taken down. This is absolutely grim. I am actually in shock listening to this.
Have like a little bit of a convo with them when they come in, or do you just straight to it?
Bless them, they're so nervous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They're holding their ID up, they're shaking, they're trying to sign the consent forms. It's looking like I'm literally holding them like to their will. But
if they're this nervous having sex with somebody who's doing this for a living, she's probably preying on the weak often. Because the boys that are getting laid at 18, 19, and 20 aren't going to shake because they see Bonnie Blue. They're going to be like, ugh, you're an easy lay, I guess. Or they'd be like, I don't want somebody like you. Like, personally, both me and my brother, we would have never gone with somebody like that because it's not a chase, it's not fun, it's not somebody that not everybody can have. Like, it's supposed to be finding somebody that has standard, class, elegance, beauty. And I'm saying beauty in terms of like her elegance. This to me is just cheap. It's like the difference between going to a high-end restaurant and getting like a nice like sushi, beautifully set up and a great experience versus gas station sushi.
I can understand why they'd be nervous.
100%.
It's not gas station sushi. So it's more like the thing that's been thrown out from the gas station. Like 2-3 day old garbage sushi from the gas station. Baby.
Don't know me. They've just queued up for hours on end. All they know is that I'm videoing it and they don't know what to expect.
Now, I'm not a psychologist.
Spread
If
your
you
legs,
are, by
dog.
the way, and you're watching, please feel free to chime in because I seriously get psycho vibes from this woman. I mean, even with Lily Phillips, even though what she did was really crazy, right? Like she had that whole documentary, sleeping with 100 men in one day.
Yeah, she did.
She had a moment where she broke down in tears, and maybe that was just for clout too, for clicks, and she was faking the whole thing. Totally possible. However, I would bet that she's more likely to turn things around. There's something about Bonnie Blue. She seems completely detached, right? Zero shame, no respect
Succubus,
for
baby.
herself or
Told you,
other people.
succubus.
I mean, harassing random workers, propositioning strangers on the street, and obsessing over the barely legal angle. It's so creepy, and she's very weird, right? Like there's just something very off about her. Obviously, there has to be something mentally going on for you to do something like Bonnie Blue or Lily Phillips, but I think it's even worse in her case.
Do the videos do well or do better if they're good looking or if they're a little bit of a minger? Respectfully.
Mingers.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Mingers means uglies, and uglies are probably gonna be watching other uglies more because it is more close to them. It's easier to live in that fantasy, if you understand what I mean. It's like saying, if you watch any film, you want to see you represented. And I'm not saying you as in the race. I'm not saying you as in your, I'm talking about you as in your personality, how you would act and stuff. You see, when you have those scary movies, right? I'm talking about the Scary Movie 1, 2, and 3, not scary movies. And the characters are like, no, don't go in there. That's stupid. That's what a dumb person would do. Right? And you'd be like, oh, that's me. I wouldn't go in there. I would tell them not to go in there. Right? And you're like, oh, that's so funny. It's something that's relating to you. And when you're seeing in porns that people are ugly and you can relate to that, oh, that could have been me. Oh, that's so close. It's easy for them to put themselves in his shoes.
Dehumanizing, both to herself and the men involved. Yeah, so it gets more clicks when they're ugly. She's using men as props to cater to her degenerate audience.
But they
to
are
make
props.
Degenerate content. It's about creating a spectacle for her. It doesn't matter how degrading it is to everyone involved.
How many people have you done in one Freshers?
This was 158 in 2 weeks. People think I'm joking when I say I'm a community worker, but like they come to me.
I mean, she sure is a community worker. She is the bicycle of the town. She gonna bicycle all around. She will be community worker here. I will plant my seed inside her garden tree. Ah, yeah, Bonnie Blue. I'm gonna have beep with you. But it is true. She does work for the community. She's the common hoe. But this, if you had a prostitute in the medieval days that was like her, perfect. Because as much as this girl doesn't like her, you do need some of these people. Because there are degenerates out there, there are involuntary celibates out there, there are people that lost a widow, like all these things, have been widowed. There are all these type of people out there that would be going to a prostitute, and she pretty much is that prostitute. And she just does it on OnlyFans and calls herself a sex worker rather than a prostitute. But I guess that's the same thing, really. But
Bonnie Blue,
Yeah.
you my husband, you cheeky.
I'm like, well, you should have done it yourself.
Well, I slept with him that morning.
Well, you're not very good at it then.
That's fair enough. I would have nothing actually to say back to that.
And ironically, for someone claiming that this is very empowering, this is her opinion on what to do if there are issues in, this marriage. Hypothetically, instead of talking to your partner, you should go and cheat with Bonnie Blue and make sure you sign the consent form so that she can make money. So I'm very curious about the women who have been lied to about OF, right? And continuously think that this is somehow an FU to the patriarchy. I'm very curious how they can...
I love it when they say it's an FU to the patriarchy and then they go suck dick. Hey, fuck you, patriarchy. I mean, isn't that like... Stupid.
Watch someone like Bonnie Blue say that it's okay to cheat and say, yeah, that's empowering to women. No, that's great.
Saying you must be riddled with STDs and you must be like, you must have things. But I get tested more than anyone else.
Well, you also sleep with more people than anyone else, than most women, at least.
So it's like sleeping with me is not only clean.
Actually, probably safer.
It's a smart option.
No.
Yeah.
Like, give me your husband. Like, if your husband's going to cheat, send your husband my way. Send me your sons my way.
You won't catch any.
That doesn't make any logical sense because if you slept with 45 men before she got tested, or if you get tested once a week but you sleep with 10 people a week, you still have 9 people's chances of getting chlamydia, herpes, HIV, gonorrhea, syphilis, etc.
Because it's going to be clean.
Plus, getting tested doesn't eliminate the risk entirely, but I know she's trying to market herself as a safe product.
Do you want kids?
I think so in the future, yeah.
Are you going to
Absolutely
tell them
not.
what you do? Or are you going to, or did... Are you going to find
sure.
out?
I'll tell him.
Okay.
Like, obviously, everything's online.
Yeah.
They'd find out regardless.
Right.
And I just think they'll be brought up, and it's becoming less and less taboo anyway.
That's
like,
true.
OnlyFans a few years ago was like, if you do that, like...
Sex isn't becoming less and less taboo. That's bullshit. Sex has always been a little bit taboo, and it's always been you should do it behind closed doors, but you can do whatever you want type of thing. And there's always been prostitutes. Everybody knows what's going on at prostitutes. You just don't have to talk about it. Just like if I have problems in the house and I want to fix it with my spouse, I'm not going to go and launder that to everybody. I'm not going to go, oh, here's my underwear. Come and take it, my friends. Oh, this is what happens to me. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fix my own problems at home. Same with if I want to have nasty sex at home. Good on me. It's not your problem. But at the same time, I don't have to go and have sex behind the bush, behind the kindergarten. Like, that's retarded, isn't it? Like, that's fucking stupid. Like, I wouldn't go and proposition some random girl in the street to have sex. But at the same time, that's kind of what you do when you, in the sense, ask them out. You ask them out to see if they are compatible. If you're compatible, then you most likely will. So she's just kind of like cutting one of the steps. I wouldn't do it personally. I understand that she would. I don't actually think it's a bad thing, but I still think there's a time and a place for things.
You are a prostitute.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like, everyone's a lot more open to it. And like, yes, they'll probably get picked on. No matter what they do, they're
gonna
probably
get
going to get
picked
picked on
on.
anyway.
Yeah.
It might be for a good reason.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm in my prime, so the videos are good.
That's fair.
So she's openly admitting that she's okay with her future kids knowing that she targeted barely legal teens and used them to make explicit content online and sell that.
Do you get a lot of hate comments on your stuff?
Oh,
You
loads.
should.
Really? Does
Yeah.
it affect
That
you
would be
or not?
weird if
No,
you
because
did.
like loads of it is like not relevant. It's always middle-aged women that have either probably they know their partner would like to cheat with me.
Yeah.
And that's not really my problem.
No, that's
isn't
fair.
actually.
Them
I do
problem.
agree
It's
with
a
that.
you problem.
That is a you
That's
problem.
a you problem. Some of the people that you can see their profile picture sometimes. I'm like, in the nice way possible, like even if you cover yourself in bleach, you're still not going to look clean. So I'm not really insulted by you.
I mean, even if you bleach yourself, you wouldn't be clean. So there's a big difference there. At least they wouldn't look clean, but you aren't clean. So I like that you think that you have this clean girl aesthetic, but all I see is dumpster fire, dumpster fire. Yeah. That was kind of a little bit too gay.
She dismisses any criticism of her because she claims that we're just jealous. Because yes, we're all dying to be 25-year-old prostitutes that look like they're 40, bragging about targeting
Fair enough.
barely
Oh, she's
legal
25?
teens and selling her body on the internet. Most people
Yep,
aren't
fair point.
jealous. They're disgusted, Bonnie, right? There's
Yes.
a difference between envy and recognizing behavior that crosses ethical and moral boundaries. But
And this is why we should bring back a tiny bit of shame and an extra dash of sea salt called bullying. But not the type of bullying that's like dunking people. I mean like shaming people for their actions. Like, there's a reason why we have shame and why we feel shame, and it's to make a society, in a sense, congregate in similar rules so people don't go way too far out to every extreme. And we have very little shame nowadays. And that shame, well, you see what's happening now. All these goddamn godforsaken TikTokers and OnlyFans prostitute and Fansly and whatever else the other platforms are called.
It is, of course, more convenient for her to label this as jealousy. The delusion is truly off the charts.
Can I ask you how much you've made in like a year off
Millions.
OnlyFans?
So this year it's already been over 3 million.
Hell.
So being a slut pays really well.
Fuck hell, 3 mil.
But at what cost? Her reputation, her dignity,
That doesn't matter.
her
That doesn't
safety.
matter.
No amount
Again,
of
doesn't
money
matter. See, the thing is, this girl is, I would say she's logical to some degree for sure. But it's also illogical. Because if you've made 3 million this year, you've made the average salary of what people will do working their whole lives. So it doesn't matter if she wants to live a normal life right now for the rest of her life. She is worked. She's done. She doesn't have to do anything more. She puts some of them in stocks. She's done. She's good. She buys a house. She's good. So it isn't like, if you're talking about at what cost your soul, yeah, I get it. But she doesn't have dignity. She doesn't have shame. And she doesn't care about what people think about her. So
can buy back your self-respect or the respect of others.
They was like, look, we wouldn't choose this for you. But they're like any other parents. They just want me to be happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've seen me sleeping with 18-year-olds, dads and husbands make me happy. So this job benefits everyone in my family.
Yeah.
Including her. It's like a family business at this point.
No, it actually is.
Yeah, like it was funny because obviously I don't live here, so I don't see my family that often.
Yeah.
And I came down a few weeks ago. My mum was like folding up flyers to hand out to Nottingham Uni students.
Her mom
Nasty.
is handing out
Nasty.
flyers to sell her daughter's body. Her mom is actively recruiting barely legal.
funny part is, in Japan, killing your child in Edo, in the medieval area of Japan, like in the Edo period, you were allowed, in a sense, to kill the child when they came out if you couldn't have an abortion or something, because they considered the child to be 1 foot in the spirit realm still and 1 foot outside. So if you smothered it and killed it when it came out, it was like kind of like you sent it back to the gods. However, if you raised that child and sold it to a place of prostitution, you were seen as trash because you were selling your child as livestock. Take that information with what you will, what you will.
Teens for her. It's not just enabling at this point. Now it's also being directly involved. Where's
Family
the
business,
dad?
baby.
I want to know where the dad is. I think he's in the picture. I think I remember her talking about her father in the last interview, and that it's just a family business. I think the mom's more involved though. But what? I don't get it.
My dad was getting stickers ready to take to the pub.
Oh, that's quite sweet.
That's quite sweet.
No,
it
it's
raises
not.
some serious questions
It's
about
not.
boundaries and
If I was daddy, okay? Og, Daniel, daddy. Og, people say, can I sleep with daughter? Daniel, no. Angry Daniel. Ooh. My daughter, protect. Easy.
the environment in which Bonnie was raised in. Now, of course, that wouldn't excuse her behavior, but it does make this whole situation even sadder. I took a look at some other videos on this woman's channel, right? What kind of videos she makes. Reverend Richard spills on I'm a Celebrity life as a gay priest and his pop star past. We're gonna stop it here. So at its core, what Bonnie Blue and others like her represent is not empowering. It's exploitation. And what's even worse is the normalization of this kind of behavior.
Yep,
not
I
just
get
by
that.
her, but the platforms and the audience that cheers her on. This includes, of course, the men who financially support her and allow her to continue this.
True,
and the
pathetic.
women who try to normalize this kind of work and
Also
find it
pathetic.
liberating, which it is not. And as a society,
It's okay to be a sex worker and a prostitute, but don't tell me that it's empowering.
we need to stop enabling this behavior. That's all for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.